All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Inside Texas with Jeff and Mitch. I am pooped out of my mind right now. We left this morning to go up to College Station to get some paperwork. Turned around, came right back down, started getting all the weather reports and craziness, and some other folks calling about the small engine stuff. So it's been crazy, and then get back down here and notice that the weather starts turning down here now. I don't know if anybody saw the live stuff that I did from Sealy today, but I think we even caught a bolt of lightning on the live stream as well. And it's it was crazy up there. So yes, we got some severe weather in here. But first, I'm going to let everybody know what's going on right now as far as the outages go, and then we'll get to the weather report. Andy Kirkland's going to join us in just a little bit, and he'll talk about these storms that are training right through here tonight. It looks like we may be out of the weather, out of the bad storm things are going to start going south of us now a little bit for the rest of tonight, but we'll check it out. We got more storms towards the end of the week again, which we will check out as well. Let me do this first. I put a thing on Facebook a little bit ago. Send us your outages and damage reports. And Maria said Highway 35 East, all off Doris and small streets behind Holy Cross, etc. Traffic light out by Walmart for sure that they know of. Moira, and I think Moira Guessford, area by El Zarape. Let's see. Makeda Drilling and the electrics out there. Jeanette Davis said that there's a tree down on 4th Street by the Matagorda Vet. There's one lane open over there with these storms coming through. And also over at Liberty Park, there's a tree down over there by Liberty Park. I know those guys are out there going to be working on that in just a little bit. Also out in Markham, they have some lines that are down on the ground out there, so they're working on that. I saw somebody post up that there's lines down out in the Markham area as well. I didn't get the exact name of the street. Now, as far as outages goes, excuse me, if you're an AEP customer. Right now, there's a total of 15,104 outages going on. Just to give you an idea, in the Bay City area, customer outages 1,653 in the Bay City area. Just outside west of Bay City, in another box out there, there's 132. Markham, there's 473 outages out in Markham. So that's pretty much all of Markham that is out without power. Right now, down in Wadsworth, Wadsworth's got 27. Matagorda doesn't have any outages right now. Palacios, folks over in Palacios, you guys had quite a few outages and they came back up. Right now, you only have about 18, and then up towards Pheasant, 11 outages. Blessing right now about 37 outages. Midfield, looking at the Midfield area out there, 284. So, yeah, 284. Now we go over to Port Lavaca, 1,801 outages going on over there.
Well, I think they just got hit again.
Yeah, they did. They just got hit again. That's why the number went up. Customer outages at Point Comfort, about 27. So that whole College Port, right? Well, that's part of the that's 18 customers there. All right. So we were looking at that. Now, if I'm going to go to the Center Point, that is AEP. We're going to go to Center Point. Center Point has 784 active outages, and I think there's more than that. Only because they tend to just put the numbers in of people that called. Oh. So I just found that out too. I was looking at why. So 784 people called, but down around the Lake Jackson area, it says it's 498 people there that are without power. 513 towards Rosenberg area, just north of Bay City. Put it up there, bowling area and stuff like that. I know got hit pretty hard. So those are the outages. And that's what we're looking at now. As far as the weather, Andy can call in anytime you'd like. Give us a call. You know, call me at my number, and then we'll talk about the weather for tonight. But those are the ongoing outages right now. You know, usually those guys will wait till the storms go through. There are still a couple of storms that are coming through Bay City area right now. So hang on, let's get Andy up there.
It just started raining not too long ago.
Yeah,
when I came into the office.
Right. All right, Andy Kirkland, what's up, brother?
All right, I had to mute y'all on the other because it was just off enough to where I never would have understood a damn thing. So.
That's all right. That's all right. All
well,
right.
We don't understand a lot anyway. So hey, just join the team.
Yeah, we don't. We're a bunch of guys that don't understand nothing, and we just do this horse and pony show, and then invite other horse and ponies.
That's right. That's right.
You know.
Well, you know, just looking up stuff here a few minutes ago, Jackson and Matagorda County remain under the severe thunderstorm watch until 8 p.m.
Right.
There's a sliver down. It was funny because Jackson County, and then y'all right along, really just the part along the coast, and then it goes all the way back to east of Houston, and then also down in the South Rio Grande Valley, they're still having problems.
Okay.
That part hadn't changed, and you're still, it's going to be slow moving off. That's moving more with an easterly component, and it's just kind of dropping slowly down as that cooler air seeps down. So it's not like a good old cold front that comes blowing through and takes it out. But there's still some lightning and all with it, and you know, still a lot of energy left in the air in some of these spots, and so you're still going to have some pretty decent convection.
Yeah.
With some of these storms.
Yeah.
You know, I hear you sitting there with the people that are calling in the outages, where we have people with lines down across the streets, and those, they need to notify law enforcement on those and be sure that you get people out there, because that's a dangerous situation. They need to get those roads closed until they get those lines up.
Right.
They had an officer, I don't remember exactly where, but an officer got killed the other day by a line that was down. And so, you know, it's nothing those lines aren't necessarily dead,
right?
Because they're not sparking. So call them in and stay away.
Yeah. Carmel Kitty 77 says that their electricity's out too. The people texting us on the show here. So yeah, there's gonna be some power outages out because these storms that went roaring through here. Is it me, Andy, or are these storms this year really, really bad compared to other years that we've had them?
I don't really think that what's happened is that you had a couple of years where we just didn't have the number of storms.
Right.
We're getting back. This is more like a normal springtime.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's that time of the year. As soon as we get into the latter part of May and start to get the heat, and where we don't get these fronts that are coming down, that's what's happening now. We had a low pressure thing trough that came out of the Rocky Mountains and sitting up there in North Texas, as it's generating some disturbances that are coming from west to east. They just have to be dipping down far enough now for us to, you know, to bother us.
Right.
That won't be lasting much longer. Pretty soon we'll be getting down into the doldrums of the summer, and we'll be wishing that this was back.
Don't say it. Don't say it, Andy. Don't. Don't say it. You're. I know where you're going.
We're going to get back, and we're going to have there's going to be an upper level trough, and it's going to send out the short waves just like we had here.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be coming through our area. That warm front, what they call a warm front, it's really just a return of moisture comes back.
Right.
You'll see them where they're talking about the PWs. That's the precipitable water. When it gets above 2 inches, that's that air you can wear. That's when it just feels horrible.
Well, and the mosquitoes like that.
Coming back to Thursday.
Yeah. Mitch was saying the mosquitoes love that stuff.
Yeah. Where they can bathe in it. Grow big.
Yeah. They got Mr. Bubble sitting on the side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Andy, you're going to be joining us right the 1st of June, right when hurricane season is, with some special guests. Also, we're going to have Amanda on here from Matagorda Emergency Management. And
I've contacted Dan Riley. He's the warning coordination meteorologist for the Houston-Galveston National Weather Service.
Right.
He came on last year with us about this time.
That's right. He did.
And he's come down to Matagorda County numerous times when we would have the LEPC down there having things about getting ready, preparing for hurricane season. So he's very familiar with Matagorda and Wharton and Jackson and Brazoria counties. Always great to talk to, and has great ideas, and just he's been down here a long time, and he knows us well and knows what we will and what we won't do. You know, it's the thing to where, you tell everybody to get out. Some people do, and some people wait until the last minute.
Yeah.
And some people will call Mitch in the EOC later and say, "Hey, can you send beer and cigarettes? We can't get in."
Now that is a true statement.
I know it. I was there one time.
That was a true statement.
It is true. Yeah.
I said, "Sir, this is an emergency line." He said, "It is an emergency." He said, "I'm out of cigarettes and beer."
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. Yeah, there was a call that came in from Sergeant like that one year, and I just died laughing. It was like, well, you know, you're just gonna have to tough it out here. Maybe another 5 or 6 hours with no beer. I hope you can make it.
Well, Andy, what they did was they shut the swing bridge down. If that was back when we had the swing bridge, and at a certain amount of wind, they sunk it. They filled it up full of water.
Right.
It wouldn't damage it, and it was in the open position because the marine traffic has right of way, so it was fun.
Oh, I love that, man! And I bet you when they retired that thing, there was a long list of people that wanted parts for that.
I bet, man. I bet.
By the way, I found out who Carmel Kitty is.
Oh,
it's Mike Mariner.
Oh,
he's using his wife's YouTube.
I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah, he's using his wife's YouTube, and when I didn't really recognize it up there, and it says mine's been out since 4:50. Carmel Kitty is Mike Mariner. All right, so we're gonna get Mike set up with his own little, to go on YouTube. If he just goes to my Facebook page or the website, he can just.
How easy is that?
He go there, but I'm gonna set him up, and I'm gonna make him Carmel Kitty 1924, and then we're gonna say that he's the last stripper known alive in Bay City.
Oh,
Texas.
Lord.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, what was the wind speeds? I was at the Civic Center this afternoon when that thing hit, and I'm telling you, man, I was expecting some twisting. I never did see anything that it resembled a tornado or even like it. But
in Jackson County and back towards Victoria in the high 60s.
Yeah.
And these are just straight line wind reports.
All right.
And so I didn't doubt that a bit. Especially a lot of times when you're getting these and you're getting these hail reports,
right?
That of good size hail. Those hail reports are because the updrafts are so strong.
Right.
But if the updrafts are that strong, so are the downdrafts when they come back down. And so if you've got large hail, you're going to have a lot of high wind gusts, and it sounds like that's what y'all got.
Jeff, did we have any? I didn't see any hail. Did we have any hail?
No, I was actually texting Andy during the storm and it just stopped, and I didn't see any hail here. Now, someone said in Palace or Midfield, there was. Okay. Someone texted me and said we got a little bit of hail out here, not a whole lot, but as it was coming closer to us, I noticed it was dying down a little bit, and I asked Andy why that was. Is because the storms things that were going through here earlier sort of take that energy out of the air, a little bit. Okay. So the last ones that came through too, you saw them, they were real big underneath Victoria, and we saw white. And anytime you see white in there, and I knew this, but I reaffirmed it with Andy, something you see those white You can tell that is going to be hail. That is some big uplifting winds going on there. So when we were monitoring that, they were moving closer to here, but they seemed to start dying down just as they got to Bay City, and a lot of energy left.
I would have hated for it to have been any stronger. Gee.
Yeah, and they were actually a little stronger west of us, and some north as well. So I know some north ones got it, but. Andy, you're the man. I can't tell you how much we appreciate everything that you do to keep us up to date and everything that's going on. I was trying to do 92 things at one time today, but Andy sent me all the emails, everything that Mike said he had pea-sized hail for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I didn't go out in it. I was a little smarter than that. But I didn't. But I kept looking, and I never saw any hail. But it could have been pea size, and I just missed it.
Yeah,
I know when that system was starting up, and they really had the big dynamics out west of San Antonio. Radar was estimating some 4 and 4.5 inch hail. They had ground reports of 2-inch hail. Yeah. So there was a lot of lift involved in that when they have you get the right dynamics, and then you get a strong jet stream, and you get that turning with the wind and that and updrafts, and you're going to get that giant hail. And it's been this spring, we've really had a lot of large hail reports.
Yeah,
that's baseball, softball size, isn't it?
Yeah, 4
it is.
4 inch.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, 4 inch. Now, when I came a couple weeks ago, when I reported this, as a matter of fact, that was Mr. Herzog from Channel 13. I sent video over there to Channel 13. You remember that when I was up there in Belleville, came down, and then that's the storm that came through Belleville, then down through Needville, and then over to Angleton.
Right.
And it was a week after we drove up that way to go to Rosenberg or someplace. And I was driving down, and right there in Needville, we went to that the gas station there
on 442.
Yeah, Valero.
Yeah.
The Valero right there. Okay. Yeah, the Valero. And I pulled in, and 4 cars were sitting there, and Lydia looked at me and said, "What the heck happened to these cars?" I said, "That's from that hailstorm last week."
Wow.
Every car was dent. They all had brand new windshields in. You could see them, but I mean, it looked like somebody took a hammer and just beat the hell out of the car. And
it took out that entire solar farm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know they had problems there. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And that was a big deal because they were wondering, some of those solar panels got beat real hard, and they were wondering exactly what was going to be coming out of those solar panels that could be leaching into the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's something else. We'll keep an eye on the weather, and if anything bad breaks, especially coming up this Thursday again, though Andy was just talking about it, Wednesday, Thursday, up into the weekend, we'll stay on top of it here. Just please make sure you go to our website. Everything is on there that you need to know, and we keep this thing up to date. Today, I was a little bit late getting it on there, but we got it on there. Everything is still on there, but just remember, we're under a severe thunderstorm watch until 8 p.m. here in Matagorda County and our surrounding counties as well. So
one thing, let me say this, because I was really, when you put up that Channel 13 feed that they have, something that Channel 13 has that the other stations don't, and the National Weather Service has a hole. There's a hole in the radar coverage west of Wharton County and Matagorda County.
Right.
And they put a Doppler radar out in Edna.
Yeah.
And that's what we were using today, looking down south of Victoria, because a lot of times that's where our bad weather's coming from, and your bad weather is coming from, is off to the southwest. And now we have a way to watch that and get an extra 10 or 15 or 20 minutes warning. And that's been a great deal. You have that on the Gulf Coast One Radio website.
Yes.
And use it, because it's a great tool.
Yeah.
And I write those people all the time and tell them thank you. I wish I'd have had that for the 25 years that I was EMC in Wharton County.
Yeah.
It helped a whole bunch.
Yeah, it did. It really did. I mean, it's just a better radar situation right now.
Andy, real quick question. Do you feel like the thunderstorm watch will be extended for us?
Not tonight.
Oh, you don't? You think 8's it?
Yeah.
I think 8 is going to be it. And y'all, you barely made it. I think the reason they kept Matagorda County in was more for the marine portion of it, for the offshore values.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's still raining here.
Really
It's
that way,
not
and they
bad.
don't, you hate to get caught offshore in these things too.
You think? Man, I can't even imagine being offshore in that thing that hit here.
Yeah. And when they do those warnings, by the way, when they do the warnings, let's say Matagorda County, that does include 20 miles offshore.
Okay.
Am I right?
You know,
right, Andy?
One of the things that I heard today, and it was amazed me, they had to close Hobby Airport, hit the runway, and knocked out a chunk of concrete.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yep.
I ain't either.
Yep.
So Hobby is closed now. I think they said until in the morning. They have to get it repaired and let it set, and it'll be closed. So everything's going to have to run in and out of IAH.
Wow.
Man, that's going to be a pain.
Yep.
Yeah, it will be.
It will be. Well, there you go. Our friend, my friend, your friend, Andy Kirkland of Gulf Coast One Radio, and our chief, I call him my chief meteorologist and foam pole climber. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I can't spell meteorologist, but I know I've got a lot of them on my phone list. So,
Yeah.
that's the way that works.
Andy Kirkland, the guy that knows more.
Now.
I'll say from now on, I'll say Andy Kirkland, the guy that knows more meteorologists than anybody in the world. There we go. We
That's a good call.
We could do that too. Yeah.
Y'all take care. Hey, thank y'all. I enjoy y'all. Y'all be good.
All right, Andy. We'll see you later. Thanks, brother.
Andy.
All right, there you go, Andy Kirkland, ladies and gentlemen. He's my guy when it comes to the weather and keeps me informed. And I'll tell you, you froze up on my iPad. Is it your equipment or mine? Yours.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with our high dollar equipment.
No, Jesus. After everything that I spent, a brand new computer,
I heard
and all this stuff. And I don't, you know what? And I'm not even running off the new computer yet.
Oh, God.
I'm still setting stuff up. I still got to collect more money from these people. And then I got to take care of my friend Mike here too. And then this thing came in, and I'm thankful for the internet deal because the radio station hasn't been down once. So it's been working. It's been working great. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on the weather for you guys. Just keep it tuned to www.gcor1.com. Everything you want to know about the county, what's going on weather-wise, everything is on that website. Upcoming events, all kinds of other stuff. And that reminds me, and I'll talk to you about that later, Mitch. I noticed something today, and I'll talk to you about it later. All right. Anyway, so let's hit off the first. The second. That was the first thing. Our second agenda for the evening on Inside Texas, and that would be what, Mitch?
Well, I just don't want anybody to forget about the Republican primary runoff between AJ Louderback and Jeff Bonite. They're both working. In fact, I think tonight there's a political forum for them in Cuero. I know they've been making several of the rounds. If you'll remember, it's State Rep District 30. We're still having elections. You know how I feel about all of this craziness. You know, you just got through voting in municipal and ISD elections on May 4th. Now we're going to turn around and ask you to go back to the polls. Early voting starts next Monday. So you got a week. You have 5 days to early vote. It'll start 8 to 5. It'll be at the service center there in Bay City, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So only 5. Normally we'll have 10 days of early voting. For this runoff, we're only going to have 5 days. So sketch your calendar. Go ahead and schedule. I promise you there won't be a line. Now, let me quantify something. If you voted in the Democratic primary before you in March, you cannot vote in the Republican primary. You have to pick Democratic primary or Republican primary. So if you voted in the Democratic primary, you're done. If you voted in the Republican primary, or if you didn't vote, which is 80% of the 80, probably over 80% of the population, you can go vote. So if you didn't vote in March, then you can vote. If you voted in the Republican primary, you can vote. But I do encourage everybody that can, please go out. Election day itself. Here's the funny thing. So starts on Monday. Next Friday, the 24th, that is Memorial Day weekend. That kicks off Memorial Day weekend. And then the election is on Tuesday. If you remember, Memorial Day is on Monday, the 27th. The 28th is election day, and that'll be 7 to 7. And they're not going to, I don't think they're going to have, they're not going to open up all the polling locations that they normally would. So I suggest to go on to Stephanie Wirtz's webpage, the county, Matagorda County webpage, and make sure what polling places. If you wait for election day itself, May the 28th, then you're going to have to find out where.
And I wanted to thank her, by the way. She helped me out with this situation that I had, and we're actually friends on Facebook.
Great lady, great.
Oh, Stephanie's great. So I asked her what to do and was asking change, and she was telling me, and this was late at night. We were talking, and I said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry to bug you so late." But she, no, and she told me everything that we needed to do.
Good.
And it has to do with the birth certificates,
Yeah.
And I found out something today, which I learned up in College Station, which those ladies up there in College Station are just the fashizzle, I'm going to tell you, they were really cool. We walked in, they were all laid back and everything. And
what county is that?
Brazos County.
Brazos County.
Yeah. And we were talking, and they talked to us like they knew us forever. I mean, just the one lady. Yeah, it's cool. And then she said, it's about birth certificates, okay? So I had to get my daughter a birth certificate, but we were told, in order to get the passport, that the short form wouldn't work. Well, that's not necessarily true.
Okay.
You have to be born in an institution. On the short form, there's a number 1 at the bottom of your birth certificate.
All right.
It's like if you were born in, let's say, Pennsylvania, and you want to get a birth certificate here in Matagorda, and you need it for your passport.
Yeah.
Okay. But, the passport goes, oh, we need the long form, this and that. Not necessarily true. Okay. You can get the short form as long as you were born in a hospital and not at home or, in a non-institutional thing. There should be a number 1 at the bottom of their birth certificate. If that's what it says, number 1, then that's all they need to get a passport. And I did not know that. So we drove all the way up there to be told the number 1. And then we get down here and look, and there's a little number 1 on it. And we didn't.
Oh, God.
So anyway,
I'll tell you a funny story. So years ago, Carolyn and I got passports to go overseas.
Right.
And we was getting close, and she got hers, and I still hadn't gotten mine yet. And I actually got, this is how far back it was, Congressman Ron Paul's office, Diana Kyle, got involved, and she's calling them. And this was the answer I got, Jeff, that I wasn't born.
You weren't born?
No, I wasn't born.
You're the son, and you're the son of a chicken farmer.
So anyway, what they evidently back 100 years ago, my parents never registered my birth certificate. They got it, but they never took it to the county and registered it. So there was no record of my birth. Now I had the birth certificate that mother had been given from the hospital,
right?
But it was so funny, and of course, poor Diana Kyle sitting there going, "Yeah, he exists. He's sitting right in front of me. He does exist." Anyway,
wow.
And then you found out there was a expedited version, and you just had to pay $70, and the problem went away.
There you go.
Go figure that.
Yeah. So we got 2 birth certificates. Lady looked at my wife because she lost one. She says, maybe we should get you 2. And I said, yes, that would be great to get 2.
Yeah.
But it only took about 5 minutes.
Okay.
That was 5 minutes. We drove all the way up there, 2.5 hours to drive up there for 5 minutes, turn around and come right back home.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and they said you can do it. We could have called them and they would have send it down to us as well. As long as we send them a picture of my driver's license, that was it. And I said, well, how long does that process take? They said, well, they can do it next day, I guess, overnight or whatever. Man, if I would have known all that, I could have saved all that too. There's stuff I don't know a lot about that part of the stuff. I was a councilman, for God's sake. That's it. I don't know nothing about vital statistics and all that. So, but anyway. Oh, and by the way, if you're traveling up towards Leon County, that would be Centerville, Buffalo, and stuff like that. Try to avoid that area. Yeah, they are. A lot of the areas up there are still closed because of the flooding. They got it really, really bad. I'm going to try to get a hold of the sheriff, who's a good friend of mine up there, Kevin Ellis, and I'm going to try to talk to him, get him on. Matagorda County, not Matagorda County. I'm sorry, Madison County. Yeah, up that way, Anderson. Going over towards Harris County, Leon County, and Houston County. There you go. Okay. So Leon County and Houston County are connected together. It is so bad up there right now, and that's where the river runs through.
Okay. What river? Trinity, the Beedice?
Trinity River is up there. Beedice River runs up there. They got it real bad. But Leon County.
Oh, the Brazos River is pretty high.
Oh yeah, we went over it today.
Did you?
It looks like a big chocolate milk. It's probably up about 10, 12 feet. Oh, okay. It's up. I mean, it's up to where the trees, midway across trees. Wow. And that we went by there, man, a couple months ago, and it was low. I mean, like dry. And then, but anyway, try to avoid that area if you can. They're trying to clean up as best they can. They got hammered up there really bad.
Jeff, in that website, and I haven't looked at drivetexas.org.
Yes.
I would go to if I was taking a trip, I would go to drivetexas.org.
Yep.
It's all the driving conditions across the entire state.
Yep.
It's a little overwhelming until you start zeroing down onto what.
That was my soul keeper during Hurricane Harvey. Yeah. We had that on when people were calling in,
right,
4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and we were telling them where to go because they didn't have internet signal or they couldn't.
Everything was closed.
Yeah, everything was closed, but we were able to broadcast and let folks know.
DriveTexas.org.
DriveTexas.org. That's right.
I remember that.
So that's good. There was one thing. Well, I can't remember. I'll think about it. Go the next subject or whatever we got.
So just to rehash an old wound that I have is there's a couple of the legislators are calling for a lot of our school districts are struggling right now. Now, let's go back a little bit of a history lesson, and I won't lament it too bad. We've got bukus of money. We've got more money than we know what to do with. We've got a rainy day fund that is flush with cash and just overflowing. Hager can't even hardly account for all the money that we got. Billions and billions and billions. Yet we've got school districts here in Texas that are struggling with to be honest with you, COVID money running out, federal dollars that went to the schools running out, and now they're having to seriously look at budget cuts. There is budgeted but not passed. The budget didn't pass $5 billion for the schools. Now it was saved, but it wasn't voted on. If you'll remember, Abbott would not let the legislature vote pay increases for teachers or raises for school districts until he got his school voucher bill passed. If you'll remember that, and he held school finance hostage. And there's no other ways to say it, but he held them hostage. Well, that $5 billion is sitting there ready to go, and yet we got 18 to 21 billion by the next session, 5 billion sitting there, and there are some legislators calling for a special session to implement that. I doubt the governor will call a special session for that. There's been he's just not one to draw all of those state reps and state senators back into Austin.
For an election, a guy that's been elected, okay, that you're talking about, three major things in the state of Texas. Border security,
Yeah.
your teachers, and police. Police and things like that. Okay,
Safety.
yeah, safety.
Crime.
Those are your three big things. Okay, now fire. Fire. I know they're working. Everybody's still working on their own thing. Police departments. We still got counties in here that are paying police departments less than what people are making at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
it's
Buc-ee's.
crazy. Police departments. I know. I know Bay City Police Department. It's one of the lowest paid police departments in the state of Texas. I know that. I know they're working hard to get that up there. And again, once we have the infrastructure here to create tax base and tax revenue, that I know that will go up. But the biggest thing is the teachers, man.
I know.
How are you going to have good teachers? How are you going to have educated teachers that are just banging on the doors to get into some place that pays well and looks up to higher education? Now, Texas, I don't even know what the number is. We're number 30 in the state or something like this, or less. Yeah. Out of the whole United States, we're 40 something. I don't know.
It's bad. I don't know.
How do you fix that? And here's this is my thing. Let that money go. Give that money to the teachers.
We're holding it hostage, Jeff, because he wants school vouchers so bad.
You know what? The hell with the school vouchers. Let's work on getting the teachers paid first, and then worry about school vouchers after that.
Well, but then he doesn't have leverage. It's all a political game. I know it's sad. I'm mad too.
So what you're going to do is mess with voters who are teachers as well. They're human beings.
A lot of teachers.
A lot of teachers out there. You're going to mess with that vote.
And their families.
And the families of those, everything, just because you want to hold something hostage because it doesn't go your way. I call BS to it, because if you're going to kick and scream and be the leader of a state, and you're just going to kick and scream, well, I ain't doing that if he doesn't do this and I'm not doing that. Okay, next. You're done. You're done. Just one time, one thing. It doesn't matter what it is. You could be great on everything else, but if you can kick and cry about educating our kids, and doing it the right way with the right teachers and higher paid teachers. Teachers are burned out. I mean, there's some work all year round. So for me, I have no respect for somebody that disses those things, law enforcement.
There's just not any reason. Now, if we were broke, if we were in a deficit budget, then look, I'd tell the teachers too, and we've been there before, where teachers and retired teachers, to be honest with you, have been looking for raises in years where we didn't have the revenue coming in. And they sucked it up just like everybody else and said, okay, the money's not there, maybe next year. But Jeff, that's not the case. The case is there is a bunch of surplus money, our money, not the state's money, but our personal dollars are sitting there that we paid in either property taxes or sales taxes. And a few fees, and I know the rainy day fund is mostly funded out of oil and gas, which we enjoy an abundance of. TxDOT does get, as long as it's over a certain cap, TxDOT gets some of the rainy day money for roads and bridges. And I might remind you, we've still got the 521 bridge out at Trespalashes, and we're about to close the bridge here at 35 over the Colorado River. But I just bring it up, Jeff, to say I could support a special session. It's 30 days. Wouldn't be any more than that. Pass a fund the school districts bill, pass it in the House, pass it in the Senate. I bet they could get it done in a week. And then sent on to the governor's desk. But that's what I want to see happen. You've got to go to January of 25. So the rest of this year, right? So no session this year. The session will start somewhere around January the 12th. You won't be able to hear any bills, anything except what's on the governor's emergency list for the first 90 days. So now we're already January, February, March. Now we're April. So you're talking about a year from now with school districts that could certainly use the money.
Yeah.
$5 billion isn't anything to sneeze at, man. I mean, that's some significant money. I support our teachers. I support our schools.
Yep.
I will have to say, Jeff, I apologize, but I really don't want to get ISDs a lot more money so they can pay their superintendent $400,000 there. I said it. I shouldn't have said it, Jeff. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want this money going. I mean, I don't care if our leaders, our superintendent, we certainly don't have that problem here in Bay City ISD. Our superintendent is compensated fairly.
Yep.
And they're running a big organization, so I want them to make good money, as well as the admin folks. But I'm telling you, I want to see the vast majority of that $5 billion go into the teacher classrooms and the teacher salaries.
Yes.
And I will lobby for that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's important. And Jeff, I think you could. I know it would cost a little bit of money to have a special session, but I'm just going to say I support it.
Yeah,
I support a special session, and the good news about a special session is the only thing you get to do is what the governor gives you, puts on the agenda. So,
right.
I want the governor to call a special session. I want it narrowly written. Don't open up Pandora's box with 100 things. Everybody's pet peeve. Stick with school finance. Stick with teacher raises. And get into Austin. Take a week and a half, 2 weeks. Get it passed, and let's get it to the governor's desk so that by the time we start the session in 2025, that our school districts are held whole.
Yeah. And by the way, if you want to call or comment tonight, you can. I got the phones are hooked up. So
yeah, you may disagree with me. I'd love to have a discussion.
979-476-4469. 979-476-4469. You can call in, and if you have a concern or a question, you are more than welcome to call us at any time from now on the show. Okay.
Well, and I'll tell you my complaint about the school superintendent. Beaumont ISD was paying their school superintendent something like $400,000 a year. It was an unbelievable amount of money.
Yeah.
In fact, there was legislation passed trying to keep when they did do a school finance bump in money, and we did turn around and tried to write it to where it wouldn't go to superintendents or admin, that it went actually into the classroom. I don't know how successful that was.
Right.
But you got $5 billion sitting there, earmarked, not legislated, not approved, but sitting there. You got another 18 billion, 12 to 18 billion in the rainy day fund. And I don't want to empty the rainy day fund either. I want some money during the next downturn.
Right.
That's what it's for.
Right.
But I don't know that I like 18 to 21 billion dollars of my money sitting there.
Yeah.
I think I could figure out a way to utilize some of that money as well.
Yeah. There's tons of ways that it could be used and should be used, by the way.
But so there's calls in the legislature about for the governor to call a special session. Remember, they're just 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the governor gets to declare what the subject is. And I think that would be pretty easy. And if I wanted to get reelected, and the way teachers vote and the way that they mobilize voter turnout, I would certainly I would support that.
And this is where everybody, when stuff like this happens, this is where everybody gets frustrated and says, "The heck with it." They just they get to the point where it's frustration and it's ridiculous. Anyway, moving on to the next thing that we got here. We got a couple more minutes left.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I was going to bring up, but I didn't want to talk. I still want to have enough time to talk about our hurricane awareness show that we're going to do. But
yeah,
more boring stuff in the state that nobody cares about. Speaker Phelan did issue his interim charges, and so if you go and take a look at what it is now, what is interim charges? So during the off session, remember the legislature meets every other year, odd number of years, even number of years. They study what they need to do or what they did. So a lot of it has to do with monitoring the laws that were passed in the last session. A lot of it has to do with teeing up, studying issues before the 2025 session. And I will just tell you another disappointment, Speaker. I think we missed. I looked specifically at the charges you gave the Department of Insurance and the Insurance Committee, and there's not hardly any discussions about TWIA, Texas Windstorm Insurance. I think we missed a very valuable. That TWIA is mentioned in a couple of spots, but not the way I want to take a look at it. I actually want to sunset it, or just shy of sunset. Right. I want to study it. I want to look at the board of directors. I want to see who's on the board of directors, who's making these decisions every year to either up our rates 5 to 10%. There is a limit. The state reps, the state senators on the coastal counties have sure came together. But Jeff, I don't know if you'll remember, but that committee, that board, even though every state legislator, every senator signed on to a letter asking TWIA to wait, they still had a vote to increase rates by 5%. I thought I thought a slap in the legislator's face would get the attention, and it has not. Right. There's also nothing in there about the appraisal process. Reevaluation is what I'm going to say. Okay. I think we need to reevaluate how we assess property values in Texas. You've written 1 million laws on how to control the tax rate, 1 million laws on how to affect the tax rate. In fact, even trying to tell local communities what they can and cannot do with a tax rate. School districts, the same thing. My angle is a little different. My angle is, how can you justify 2 acres in Jackson County that went from $12,000 an acre to $24,000 an acre in 1 year?
Yeah.
I can't sell it for that. Right. But yet that's what you appraised it on. And you appraised it based on some piece of property somewhere close. Mm-hmm. I guess. Right. I don't know the circumstances. I would have to file a protest to find out what piece of property you. But I'm telling you, we're pricing people out of their homes.
Yes,
especially along the Gulf Coast.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of money pouring into Matagorda County. I know there's really rich people buying up property on the Gulf Coast and paying an exorbitant amount of money. And that's one thing. But I'm telling you, you are going to price the working class, the working class people where they just can't afford to live on in a coastal county.
Right.
And I'm warning you. I'm ringing the fire bell. I'm trying to get somebody to pay attention. It's the appraisal process. That's what I want changed. I want it to where there's some rhyme to reason and there's some stability in the process of assigning values to property. Now, I think Senator Bettencourt did a tremendous job of tax rebates and buying down the school system tax rate. If you remember, we had James Scardamile, and he talked about a zero increase that they dropped that tax rate down to, I want to say, $1.02.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. James, correct me if I'm wrong, but from $1.50 down to like $1.02.
Mm-hmm.
That's tax rate.
Right.
That's taxable value.
Right.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the appraisal process. I'll give you, for instance, in New Mexico, when you buy a piece of property, that is your taxable value until you sell it. So you're not going to, now you could have a tax rate increase, but you're not going to have an increase in the appraised value.
Right.
I don't know that I could go forever. I could go 7 years. So every 7 years you reevaluate a piece of property. I could maybe live with that. I'm not saying anything about tax rate. We vote that locally. If you don't like your city tax rate, vote in the city elections. If you don't like your county tax rate, vote in your county elections. If you don't like the school district's tax rate, then go vote. If you don't like the Port of Bay City's tax rate or the hospital district tax rate or the conservation reclamation tax rate, the drainage district tax rate, then get involved.
Right.
But I'm talking about, I just think we missed an opportunity with the speaker's interim charges. I want to see that listed as an interim charge where we can have hearings and see, just move the ball forward. Hardly ever do you introduce anything during a session that hasn't been studied prior. And the interim charges, both the Senate, the Lieutenant Governor does it for the Senate, the Speaker of the House does it also for the House, and then the governor can weigh in as well. So,
right. Okay.
Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. I apologize.
You're good. No, that's good. You're right.
I'm telling you, I'm sick of, I'm just sick and tired of watching these people that can't afford their rent and can't afford a house note and can't
more
afford
and more. It's more and more and more and more.
And then inflation on top of that. Don't get me started on Bidenomics and the cost of everything. It's just, man, I don't know. I
remember getting my first apartment up in Allentown. My first apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, living room, dining room, kitchen. This is in the 80s. And we thought, oh, that was high then, was $275 a month. All right. And it was nice, $275, 2-bedroom apartment, this and that. You can't touch a 2-bedroom apartment around here. And a lot of it has to do with tax, with this property taxes going up. You know, $1,000, $1,200, $1,250.
I know.
There's a lot of people out there that don't make that kind of money. There's still a lot of people that do not.
Right.
You know? And, I saw something the other day. Our president was asked the question. He said, what are you going to do to help? What are we going to do to lower gas prices and the food prices and everything are just coming down? He says, we don't have to do that. People are making more money now.
Oh, God.
That's exactly what was said. So I was like, no. All these goofballs run. I swear to you, one day I'm just going to jump up and say to Lydia, I'm running for president just for a couple of weeks, straighten out all this crap, and we're done.
Just make you king for a day.
Man, if you can't run a business, you can't run the country. I'm sorry. It just does not.
I know. I'm just telling you, it's we've got to do something. We've got to start paying attention to these families.
Yeah.
And we just can't keep them down. interest rates for houses. You know, I mean, they're creeped. I'm not going to say they're astronomically high.
Another what, 8.9%, 8.5?
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, maybe dropped a little bit. I don't. But 7-8%, and there's economists that say that's not bad.
Based
if you can't afford it.
Yeah, they're basing it on the value of what the average person is making, and the average person is not making. It's the above average persons are making.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you.
Well, before we wrap this up tonight, anyway, there's a couple things going on, and I want to make sure that I get this because I've been wanting to do this for a couple of weeks. Okay. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on throughout the community, and out at Midfield at the fire department from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. This Saturday, the 18th, starting at 9 a.m. The spring market is going on. That's at 52 Rawls Avenue in Midfield, Texas. 10 by 10 outdoor booths are $25. Vendors are welcome. Garage sale items are welcome. Contact to reserve the booth Vic Collins, Christy Collins, or Jim Moat if you want more information on that. Sorry, I got this little tickle. It's driving me nuts today. Vic Collins, you can dial him at 979-240-5030. That's 979-240-5030. Christy Collins, 979-240-9771. Or Jim Moat at 713-503-3920. And then Grassy Point. They got their grand opening there, Grassy Point Kayak. So they got going to be selling kayaks and stuff out there. That's 512 Main Street out there in Palacios. That's going to be opening Wednesday, May the 22nd is their grand opening. And then also the annual barbecue fundraiser, Matagorda Volunteer Fire Department.
Oh, that's next week.
That's coming up. Yep. Barbecue dinner prepared for the expertise of Coastal Cube Barbecue is making it. That's going to be Saturday, May the 25th, $15
Memorial Day weekend.
Yep. Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
Drive-through or dine-in. It's going to be at the Matagorda VFW Hall, serving 11 a.m. to 2 or until sold out. So make sure you go down and support the fire departments. That's what they depend on. They depend on that money.
Right.
From the profits. They still got to buy, they still got to buy stuff. So that's what's going on. So there's a lot of other stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. We'll talk about that, but don't forget Midfield this weekend, Matagorda the following weekend, and next week's show. By the way, just to let everybody know, next week's show is going to be recorded because I'm getting the hell out of here for a while.
That's right.
I'm hiding. I'm hiding. I ain't telling nobody what I'm doing.
Nobody.
No, nobody.
All
no,
right.
I was invited to go to Mars, and that's where I'm going to go.
All right.
NASA said we need some fat guy on the back end of our jet. And I said, I will go.
Weigh it down.
Anyway, when we wrap up, Mitch, just stay there 1 second and you go. All right.
Excellent.
All right. That's it. On behalf of Michaels and the lovely and talented Mitch Thames, we'll see you all next week on a pre-recorded Inside Texas. Until next week, adios, y'all. And stay safe and make sure you stay and go to Gulf Coast One Radio, GCOR1.com. We'll keep you up to date on all these storms and stuff going on. We'll see you all later.